I'm Laura with Link Private Tutoring, and I wanted to make this video to help parents understand how students can continue to study for the ACT even if they had tutoring, they had classes, they were ready to go, and then they were not able to take the test this summer as they had prepared for. So I'm hearing and reading on Facebook parent threads that your students are starting to burn out a bit on the ACT prep. And when you think about it as ACT prep, that absolutely makes sense that they might feel burned out by it. Now, I have a strategy that can help that, and I would be willing to put that in a kind of a timeline planned Google document that I will share with anybody who asks for it. Just comment on that post, direct message me with your email that you saw this and that you would like the plan for how to keep your students continuing to be ready for the ACT or the SAT and not lose momentum. So here's the situation. The next possible ACT test date is in mid-September, and then they're going to have 2 more in September and 3 total in October. And the next SAT test date is August, but depending on where you live, that test may or may not happen depending on what happens with the COVID virus when people go back to school. So one thing that I have advised my students is when you are deciding where to register for the next time you take the test, choose a location that gave the test in either June or July or both. Because even if schools have to close down in the fall, or things are like rolling, open, closed, that sort of thing, those schools will have already given the test during a phase 1 or a phase 2 situation, and they will be comfortable with it, and they'll know how to safely give the ACT or the SAT to your students. So this applies only for the ACT because the SAT wasn't given in the summer at all. So find a location. Another piece of advice, we have been doing some research at Link Private Tutoring, and we have found that rural schools are more likely to hold the test, that private schools are more likely to hold the test, but stay in touch. Once you have registered for the test, find out who the test director is at that location where your student is taking the test, and make sure that they're not at the last minute going to make it only for their own students, or some really complicated things have happened and students were turned away. They went on Saturday, July 18th, to take the test, and they were turned away even though they had their registration form right there. So that is also the people that I'm talking to. What do you do now? You're bummed. You're tempted to give up. So now let's get into mindset. So if your student has been prepping and was ready to take the test, unfortunately, what I have found with my students is slide does happen. They can be ready to take the test and practicing at a certain score, and then if they don't keep practicing, they do go down. So that's unfortunate. Mindset would be to, instead of think of it as a short-term ACT prep situation, remember that the ACT and the SAT are based on college readiness standards. So however you have your student prepare for the ACT or the SAT, they're actually learning the standards that are going to help them senior year in high school and in college. So if the mindset is more that this is a course, this is an academic enrichment. Think of it as an academic enrichment that gives your student chance to remind themselves of all the grammar rules, all the little detailed grammar rules, like where commas go, that a semicolon is essentially a period, math, geometry seems to give students a lot of trouble, but they're going to see that basic college algebra and possibly geometry again in college. So the time that they are putting in to preparing to get a good score on these college entrance exam tests is also like pre-studying for senior year and for college. So one of the things that I recommend is this book. So this book, or if you don't get this book, practice tests that were actually put out by the ACT. You can Google the terms preparing for the ACT and find the booklet that the ACT puts out. They don't change the test often though. It's like every 3 years it's a different test. So there's a few of those. And let's say your student already had some tutoring or they already had an ACT prep class and they know what to do. Very simply, what I recommend to stay fresh is every day, or perhaps every other day, do one English passage, and then the next day check your answers. Then the next day do a reading passage, and the next day check your answers, and on. All the time, every single day. I recommend doing 3 to 5 math problems from a real ACT practice test, as well as from other, like find some other math problems, like Delta Math is something that I have access to, and if you're interested in that, just contact me, Laura at Link Private Tutoring, or send me a private message on the social media platform where you're watching this video. So the idea is to have your child working maybe 15 minutes a day, maximum 30 minutes a day. And they are refreshing their knowledge as well as their test-taking strategies on the multiple choice tests. I hope that this has helped. And if you want a course that can take students through the entire process, they can. This course is only $99 and it can be stretched out for 6 to 8 weeks. Or I have created a 2-week study schedule where you really work it intensely. Take students through all of my proven methods that will raise their score. I made it $99 because it needs to be incredibly affordable, I feel like, for people who have already done a class and they need a refresher, or they have been studying on their own, wanted to take the test, but now the timeline is narrowing. Like, what if your class of 2021 and you were not able to take the test yet at all? You don't have the luxury now of going in to take it the first time, which I don't recommend anyway, but some people want to go in, take it the first time to see how they do and then base their tutoring plan on that later. You don't have time for that, right? You've got to go in stronger because you don't have as many options before you need to apply for school. So again, Laura at Link Private Tutoring. You can reach me at Link Private Tutoring on Facebook, Instagram. YouTube is a different handle. It's Ms. Laura Link. And I'm even on Pinterest at Link Private Tutoring, and then my website, www.linkprivatetutoring.com. I am happy to help you whether you are one of my students or not. I will be happy to send you the study schedule.